Hi, everybody. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I can hear me, and that's all that's important. Welcome back to something I'm calling DocTalk, where I talk. In this series we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons characters and character creation. I hope the setup's okay. I haven't done this in forever, so it's just what's going on. So just a little bit about Dungeons and Dragons. You're talking about a game that started in 1974. It was first published by Gary Gygax and Dave Everson under TSR. Today we're at 5th edition, which people will tell you is not true. It's not 5th edition, it's the 8th edition, and that's what it is. It is true, it's 8th edition. And if you hear banging and machine noises, I do apologize. Had a leak in the roof and they're fixing it, but I'm going to try to make this a go anyways. But anyways, hi. I'm going to keep saying but anyways. We're going to start by creating a player character, or PC, that's what people call it. This is going to be your avatar for the game. The important thing to start creating your PC is going to be on you. You can ask a million people, and a million people will tell you a million different ways. You want to have more of a video game character where you concentrate on the things that you can do and the best gear. It's called min-maxing. People make fun of it, but it's not bad. If it's your playing type, then it's not bad. You know what I just realized? I just realized I'm muted. So you guys are going to have to listen to the podcast to hear the rest of it. Sorry. Welcome back. Just did a hi. I'm Doc. There's people in chat and nobody said anything. Hurts my feelings. So anyways, I was just saying that we're going to start doing player character creation, player characters, PCs, and this is going to be your avatar for the game. Again, I was just saying that min-maxing is not bad. It's a style of play. These people usually don't want to do a lot of the role playing, and they just want to create characters to beat the game kind of thought process. There's nothing wrong with this. When you're trying to make the best and most powerful character, it's called min-maxing. People make fun of it, but again, I have no problems in it. It's fine. Miss Beast Joyce. I was like, I bet you I can't see what's going on, and then I realized you guys weren't going to be able to hear me. As another disclaimer, so the second time that they might hear it in the podcast that I'm going to make this out of, there's banging, there's construction music, my roof was leaking, and they're fixing it. So, making a role-playing character, though, is another function. That's what I do, and that's what we're going to do through this. So I'm going to teach you my process. But again, there is nothing wrong with enjoying your character is the most important thing in the game. But you got to remember that part of this is playing in a group. So if your character, you're having fun with your character, but nobody's having fun with their character because of your character, just keep that in notes. Anyways, the way to make a role-playing character function, I found out the two best ways is you look at what you want your character to be when you look in the book. These are going to be more your veteran players or somebody who loves to read. Me personally, as a DM, when somebody comes up to me and they're making... my on-screen chat box isn't moving. Well, I apologize for that. I don't know what to do. It's moving on my end. Maybe it doesn't like me, but who cares? I like me. Oh, yay, thank you. I'm going to have to cut a lot of this out. We're going to do role-plays by models. You can do it a bunch of ways, but I'm going to show you mine. When people ask me about building their character, the first thing that I do is ask them what kind of character in a series that they like, in a book, a show, or a movie, basically is what I'm trying to go with. And I think it just helps new people get an idea of what they want to be in their character when it comes to role-playing, what kind of thing they want to have, right? So do you want something that's more in depth, more understanding? Do you want something that's played out? Do you want to learn as you go? These are all ideas. It's okay to want to be like Jester from Critical Role, played by Laura Bailey, who's amazing, and I think she created her as well. But even if you do that, we need to know how to make her you or yours. What will be similar? What will be different? This gives us idea for what we need, and we're going to need three things. One is race, and I'm going to say race. I understand that there's a debate in the D&D community about should it be called race or species. I'm calling it race because when you open up the player's handbook, it says race. I understand the other side of it, but this isn't the place. We're going to say race so I don't confuse people. Class and background. I want to build a hero. I'm going to go with shy and humble, which is kind of what I want, with a powerful voice. So in my head, I think that this person hurt somebody important to them or close to them when their power manifested. I'm going to say they whisper and only talk when they have something important to say or something that somebody talks to them specifically. It likes me, but it doesn't like you guys. I do apologize. Let me look at something. Is it kind of scrolling up now or no? Hold on one second. Let me fix this. I'm not seeing anything I can do. I'm sorry. I hope it's scrolling up. I hope you're seeing some of this stuff. Like I said, it's scrolling for me. It's scrolling in my other box. Something's wrong. I'll fix it in post. Actually, I'll switch screens here in a second, I promise. For this, again, out of all the things that I want, I told you the whispering. I just want him to be... he's going to have the qualities of, if you ever saw Gone in 60 Seconds, the one guy who doesn't say anything but at the end says something that's super deep. That kind of thought. I know what I want my character to be. So I know, because I own all the books, that he's going to be a bard, and I want to use College of Whispers. This is located in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. You don't need all the books. You just need somebody who understands the material. Most of the stuff can be found online. But if you're going to use it in your games and you love it, I recommend picking up the books. Ask your dungeon master or the veteran player at your table, if your dungeon master's new, what they should do and to go through it with you. It's so fun to try to flesh out what you want your character to be. But you don't need to be set in stone. I've built many characters that I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm going to be, so I want to play this out a little bit. And so I move on and I play it out a little bit. I think that I want them to be part of the campaign setting as well. So the newest game we start tonight is a pirate or ship-based game. So I'm going to use the background sailor from the player's handbook in creating this character as well. The most popular way is that one makes it makes everybody happy is to roll out your stats, right? So let me switch my screens here because hopefully that helps us get to this part, because I'm going to actually build this character right here on stream with you with this blank sheet. Is it moving? Is the chat moving? It doesn't look like it's moving. I will fix that later, I promise. I don't know what to do though. It just doesn't like me. But anyways, sorry. I digress. I had to cut that out for the podcast. Anyways, I'm going to do this as a sailor background. Also, I have my path. Now we just need to ask the DM what he wants me to get my stats, right? And so the most common, the most popular way is to roll out your stats. You roll 3 to 4 D6s depending on how they want to do it. There's also variants to this, and DMs have their own rules. There's no right or wrong way. Please don't ever tell your DM he's doing it wrong. Like we always say in this, the DM's always right. If the rules disagree with the DM, see Rule 1. You're going to get stats: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. If you look on the sheet, you'll see them. They're in that order. And what we want to do with this is just simply get these ways. And like I said, rolling is one way. The second one is the way Mike had us do our characters for tonight's game, which is we rolled 4d6, took out the lowest number. We rolled it 7 times and then took the 6 highest of that. This is a higher probability of having high scores. It's pretty good. Give me so much power. Yes, Mike, the Social Contract Pod, go follow him on Twitch. He has some good stuff. Anyways, it gives you a probability of high scores. And again, there's many variations of this. Point buy is always a fun way. It takes a lot more time and a lot more thought. It makes sure that you have balance in play. By that I mean that if you're going to make one score high, another score is going to suffer. There's really no way to do that. My personal favorite always, and it's only because everybody gets the same 6 numbers to work from, is called standard array. And for those of you that don't know, standard array is normally and typically, and it can be any set of numbers the DM imagines, but typically it's 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Nothing so high that you're godlike, nothing so low that you're peasant-like, and it gives you this fun little thing. So I have my character sheet here, and we're going to fill this out together. I just moved my character sheet on my screen, so it's going to bounce around a little bit. And I'm going to use a standard array to do this. Again, I know we want to be a bard, so I'm going to look in the player's handbook. The bards are located on page 51 in the player's handbook. You can get free downloads. I'm not sure which ones they have. If you're brand new at this, you're not sure if you're going to like it. There's a lot of stuff. And again, I'll tag it when I put this on YouTube and when I put it as a podcast. So there's a section in each class that says quick build. This is the first place I want to go. It's under all the classes, and I suggest if you're new to the game, actually do what it says. And here it has class tips to starting a character, and we're going to use this as a baseline. It says here that my highest number is going to be in charisma. So I'm going to come down to charisma here. I'm going to dial in my charisma, which I said was going to be the 15, the highest. And then it says dexterity is going to be my second. But before I get there, in the book, I'm just reading it really quick. It says that I want to take entertainer as my background, but I told you it doesn't fit my story to be entertainer, right? Even though it's fun. I'm going to take sailor instead with this, and then when we do spells, we'll critique those as well. But that's not today's episode. So, again, we do our basic stats on my character sheet. And if you're using a pencil and paper with this, by the way, this part you want to write lightly. You're going to do a lot of erasing, because stats go up and down depending on what you choose with your character. Yes, I give you much power, sir. Okay, so it's a little slow. It's good. Sorry, I'm just paying attention. If you guys have something to say, you have any questions, pop them up. I have no problems answering these things. Again, I'm going to take that 15, put it in charisma like I already did. The reason it wants me to place that here, and the book knows this, is that as a bard, my spells are charisma-based. But if I look at page 178 of the player's handbook and I read what charisma is, it's also how well my character interacts with others. So I want to keep that in mind when I'm thinking about how I want my character to be. How does he do that? And again, that's another in-depth and another time for character builds. If you go to 178, it explains all the skills and other things that are associated with that, but I don't need that. Again, dexterity was my second one, so I'm going to go ahead and place that 14 in there. And you notice I'm placing the actual numbers at the lower spots. There's a reason, because those aren't as important as my modifiers are going to be, and those are going to be in the big boxes, which I'll explain in a little bit. Now, this is where it gets weird. If Constitution isn't one of the ones, I always suggest it to be one of your higher ones. Your Constitution, in the long run, is going to help us with our hit points, right? It's going to let us be a little bit more durable, which I can tell you right now, just looking at this, my bard's not going to be super durable to start off with, so here we go. I'm going to drop that 13 in there just because of how I think. And it's, you can do you. You do not need that. The cool part about having a lower constitution is it affects your saves, but it doesn't affect your hit points because you always get +1 to constitution hit points no matter what. So that's always a good thing. And some DMs play it where it's a 0. It doesn't matter. You really can't have negative hit points. It's not how the game works. So have some fun with that. I'm also, because I'm a sailor, I want him to be able to defend himself from pirates, right? And so since I know he's going to do that, he's going to be boarding ships, jumping back and forth. I had to make some decisions here. Do I want him to be street smart or intelligent? So intelligence is book smarts, wisdom is street smarts. Not a big fan. So what I'm going to do is, the most important thing to me is going to be this wisdom. I want him to have more street smarts than anything else. Now I have intelligence and strength left. I don't think he needs to be really strong. He's very agile. I know as a bard I don't need a lot of strength stuff, but that's metagaming stuff. More role-playing. I'm thinking like Skater Boy. He's not really strong, but he's tough, and there's a difference with that. I think I'm going to use strength as my dump stat. I'm going to put dump stat, meaning the lowest stat you have, by the way. Might use that from time to time. So I'm going to place that 8 in there, which leaves my 10 to be my intelligence. So I'm average in my books. So what am I going to do now? I think because he's a 10 in intelligence, I think he's an undergrad because bards go to colleges in the book. So that's where I'm going to say he is. So now I got my basic scores set. I'm kind of okay. Like if right now, if we wanted to role play a little bit with my character with no name or whatever, I could figure that out later. I have enough information to role play my character. I understand him enough as long as there's no major roles. I think I'm going to make him a human variant. So let's fill in some of this stuff up here. I know I'm going to be a bard. I don't get my College of Whispers yet. I'm going to be a human, and then I'm going to just put that V right there just to give myself a variant. Oh, player name. Huh, let's put Doc. I don't get that very often, so I'm going to use it where I can. I know my background's going to be sailor. I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. Now, alignment. Let me just make this real clear. You don't need alignment to play the game. And you don't know what your alignment is yet. You don't know your character until you play him a little bit. Talk to your DM about leaving that blank. Most DMs are going to be fine with that. I'm fine with that. Mike's fine with that. Everybody's fine with that. I hope you guys aren't hearing the bang, bang, bang as much as I am. All right. So I see my character a little better now, right? So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the regular human names in the player's handbook. So right at this point, I wasn't sure if I was going to do a guy or girl. So I'm going to do Orlo Marsk, right? Oh, that's okay. Daniel. Right out of the book, right there. I named him. There we go. And I'm gonna have him identify as a he, him, and he is in college for some knowledge. I want him to be 19. So I'm gonna flip down a page here, and there's my age. Let me make sure that transferred well. So I'm gonna make him 19 because that's what he is. He's in college. He's got a little bit under his belt. That looks good to me. Features. All right, so I wanted to blend. Let's do some brown hair, brown eye kind of stuff. I'll make him 5'11". I want him to be a little tall, but I don't want him to be like that awesome tall. Oops. There we go. Weight, let's make him a $171. He's not little, but he's not big. And I am going faster than my keyboard today. And his skin type. Now, this is just what he looks like. It's not going to make a ton of it. So I'm going to make him, he has tannish skin. Just because I want to make it easier. All right. Let's go back to the first page because we're going to go back to that human variant. Again, it's in the player's handbook under human. And we see something right off the bat. We see that we can give 2 ability scores a +1. So I'm going to go with our 2 big ones, right? So I'm going to increase charisma to 16, and I'm going to increase dexterity to 15. I know those are my 2 top ones. I get 2. That's where we are. Our base speed is 30. We're going to put that right there. That's how far my character goes. In previous games, we used to just say 5 squares because it's 5 feet per square on a map, but we're getting further away from that. We know it's 30 feet. We get common as a language and 1 extra. So let's go ahead and fill that in down here. I got to know that he speaks common, and I'm going to have him do Elvish because, well, you know, he was going to bard school. So he had to be able to talk to them hoity-toity types, which, I mean, who's more hoity-toity, right? All right, so we got pretty set here. I want to make him, in my head, he's an author. He was in college as an author. He's working as a sailor just to pay the bills. I could put that anywhere. I'm just going to remember that I wanted to be an author while I'm doing this. All right, so as a variant, we get 1 skill. We're going to assign this once we look at how many skills that we get. And I'm going to take a feat 2. And I know my feat's going to be observant. Which I could fill that in here. and you can type it in or write it in. It's fine. Just remember that you have this stuff. Don't forget. It's not the DM's job to know your character. It's yours. Yep, so I'm going to take Observant. I wanted to pick up on details around him. That's why I was thinking about that feat. He wants to be able to see and understand things. I just want it to be that way. Let's see. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring that dexterity down to 14. Now they've been talking this character out. I want him to be a little bit more street smart, right? Because he's got to notice things. I know that wisdom is a notice thing. This is the important part of building with somebody who knows. If you look next to the skills, the skill box being, I don't know if you see my thing, but like where it says acrobatics, it's next to constitution there. If you go down on the right hand side, I don't know how well you see this on your screen, but on a character sheet you'll see this. It says Wiz, Intel, Int, CHA. Those are the associated skills. I associated perception with this. I want his wisdom to be a little higher. All right. So Observant also gives us +5. I got to remember this, to passive perception and passive investigation. This is an easy one. Passive just means take your investigation or your perception skill, add 10. We'll figure that out in a little bit. I got to remember that, but I'll explain it a little later. So my bard side. Let's go to our class features. Again, it starts on 51, but I'm going to go to 52. I see right underneath class features that my dice are a 1d8. So I am going to write that here so I don't forget. A d. Oh, look at me. 1d8. Okay. And it's level 1, so I get 1. Put that in there. And you just get 1 hit dice per level. It's really easy to keep track of. All right, so we're going to be level 1. So we get our max. I don't have to roll at first level. I get the max. That's going to be 8. Before we go any further, Dan, let's figure this out. So 10 and 11, our modifiers is 0. Don't have an 11. 12 and 13s, our modifiers are 1. 14 and 15 is +2. I almost forgot. 9 and 8 is a -1. And then, 13 is 1, 14 and 15 are 2, 16 and 17 are 3, and so on. Now I got that in there. Sorry. Look at me skipping things. See, nobody does it perfect. But I do know I got a +1. I have an 8, so my max hit points is a 9. And right now, I have 9. Unless I hit my head or stub my toe getting out of bed. It happens. You never know. So, hit points. What is that? That's how much damage it takes to knock me down. Not kill me, just knock me out. Once I'm knocked out, I could be bleeding if I'm in battle. And then there'll be death saves, but we'll explain that later on. Don't have to worry about that. Right now, I've got 9. That's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. At least I'm not a wizard. That's all I'm saying. All right, so we come down to proficiencies because we see it in our box here. And I'm proficient in my language with the common, but I'm going to add a new section in this box, which is going to be armor. And I'm new to glasses. I can barely see. Light armor is my proficiency. That's going to be important later when we find loot or we have a chance to buy stuff. Just keep that in mind. It's nothing that's going to do anything for us right this second. Let's see. I got armor, light. I have my weapons. These are things that I can use with proficiency. Oh, before we go any further, level 1. I have 2 in my proficiency. Anything I'm proficient at, I add 2 to. What does that have to do? Well, it comes to rolling the dice, adding things up, but it's how good you are at it. At level 1, I get to put 2. All of them are the same, but the little box in the player's handbook under each class, there's a big box. It says what you get every level, just a really quick, 1 through 20. In there is one that says proficiency, but they're all the same. It's not like if I'm a barbarian, I get more or less. But I know it's 2. I'll put that in there. So, but my weapons, I get all simple weapons. Yeah. I get hand crossbows. I get long swords. I get rapiers. And I get short swords. Okay. that's it. That's all I got for that. We get to choose 3 magical weapons, but because of in the class. But me, I remember I want to be an author. So I'm going to go have a discussion with my DM, and hypothetically in this mysterious world, it's Michael and Mike, sorry, and I'm going to go to Mike and I'm going to be like, Mike, listen, I don't want to take these. Can I switch these out for artesian tools that would be more writing styles? I know Mike enough, and I know most DMs enough, like, oh, because you want to be an author, that makes sense. And then, so, under here, I'm going to make a new section for tools, and I'm going to put cartographer tools. I wrote it down because I don't remember. There we go. And then I'm going to do calligraphy. All right, those are my tools. I know I can do that. And in here, even with those 2, I've got 1 left over. And by the way, if you want to look at the artesian tools to see what you want for yours, and you have a player's handbook, that's page 154 of the player's handbook. And I'm going to take the 1 musical, because he's a bard, of course he's going to do it. So I'm going to add lute. You know what? I'm going to do flute. Something I can carry around in his bag. He's not stereotypical. All right. It also says underneath this box that I have saving throws. It says Dex and Charisma. All I want you to do is mark the 2 boxes. The sheets have that. Anything with a black dot, I'm going to add my proficiency score to. Excuse me. And that'll be a little bit in the end here. Right now, I just want to knock them, and that's what it's going to be. It says I could choose 3 skills, but remember I'm variant, so I add that other one. I have 4. Again, I want to save this for later. And then we go to our starting equipment. Here I'm going to take the rapier. I can choose between the scholar and the diplomat's bag, but I'm going to go ahead and get the diplomat's pack. You can see all what's in every pack in the player's handbook on page 151 in the bottom right hand corner. It tells you, but I know for a fact this one has paper, ink, stuff that I need to write on. And then I get the instrument, so I'm going to take my flute. And again, and let me show you this. So sometimes you can put your equipment here, but it says that different additional feats and traits here. This is actually where I normally keep a good list of what I have in my bag. I'll fill that out later, but I just wanted to show you. So here, just to put it in there, there's my flute, and I add things. You can also put them down here as well, depending on how much you have on you. But again, I get my flute and I get my rapier. And for now, I'm going to put my rapier right here, because I'm going to fill this out later when I go to look at my weapons. I want to take the diplomat's pack, so let me put that in there. I'm not right now lightly writing on my paper because I'm using pencil and paper, right? So I'm going to lightly write on there that I'm doing this. Diplomat's pack. I can go later and look up what's in that pack, which is also in the section. I don't remember if I wrote that down. I do apologize. Yes, I did. 151. So I can go in there later and do all that. But right now, this is what I got. I know I get leather armor and a dagger. So I get my dagger. If I look up my leather armor in the armor thing, I can write it down if I want to, which, you know, for purposes here, I'm going to put it in here. But I know leather armor is 11 plus my dex, so I have a 13 AC. But it's going to be in there. I'll tell you about that stuff later. I don't need all this right away. My DM's not going to start with me fighting. If he does, he's going to give me a heads up, and he's going to help me build that portion of it. Now I look at my starting equipment, and each DM is going to do this differently. It's just what it is. But I just went through that starting equipment, chose what I was going to choose in that, but your DM might have you start differently or use different things. Trust me, if they want you to use something different, they will explain it. All you have to do is ask. Now, if I turn my player's handbook to page 139 of the player's handbook, I see a few things. So, our first feature we could put it on our sheet here. And funny enough, I didn't write it out in my notes, so I'm going to pull out the handy dandy player's handbook. I just so happen to have it at my side here. I'm going to go to Sailor, which is on page 139, and my feed is Ship's Passage. When I need to, I can secure free passage on a sailing ship for myself and my companions. I could sail on a ship I served on or another ship I have a good relationship with. This is going to be all about your DM, so just remember, he knows. Because I'm calling in a favor, I can't be a certain of a schedule or route that will meet my every need. My dungeon master will determine how long it takes to get where I'm going. But in return, I'm working on the ship. That's fine. I'm going to write it in the box over here, which is, for me, I'm just going to put free travel for ship work on ship. Boom. You don't have to write the whole thing. I got it right there. I have a player's handbook or rules. You can Google most of this stuff and find it. It's good. Just have something to understand what you're doing. Now, I get athletics and perception right off the bat. Boom. Here's where we come into play. This is why I waited that long. Now I have all the skills and which ones I have to take, which are those two. And now I have 4 more to choose from. I want him... We're going to do investigation. I want him to be able to notice and see and find things because he's writing. It's very important for his author thing. I think it'd be cool to take performance with the loot or even just acting, which would be like really neat. School story elements for later. I know I'm going to take deception because he's not going to talk a lot. So he's going to like have to fake something or say something to whisper something. So I want him to do that so it's part of the storyline. So now I got 5 of those chosen. I get 1 more, and I think I want him to be in history. There we go. All right. So down here on the box underneath it says passive perception. I get a +5 for being observant. If I fill in the ones that I need to, which right here, I got a -1 in it. It's a 2, so I get a +1. That plays in. My charisma is a 3. I get a +2. I get a 5 to deception. That's pretty good. I thought I muted that, but I guess I didn't. All right. And my history is intelligence 0, so I get a 2. Investigation is intelligence is that. I'm going to get another 2. Perception is wisdom. I got a 1. That gives me a 3. And performance is charisma, which gives me another 5. 10 plus my perception. 13. Plus another 5. I have a passive perception of 18. I also have passive investigation. And I know it's 17, but that's because investigation's a 2 plus 10 plus that 5. Now I have everything from my observant on here. Now we can add our proficiency bonuses to all that, which I showed you. And again, the for bards, it's on page 53 if you want to look it up. Let's again. I'm sorry. I can't get into it now. All right, we go back to Sailor. We have things that we can add as our tools, and one of them is navigation tools, specifically for that, and of course, water vehicles. You can write this different ways. Just because it says it in the book one way doesn't mean anything. I get that. We also get some cool things. We can add that a little bit here. Now let's talk some characteristics. These are suggestions. You want to have some fun? Roll a dice. Each of them have a number associated next to them. If you look in the player's handbook, it tells me for my personality trait 1 through whatever, I roll that dice number. Boom, I can put it up here. The important thing is, for us, these are suggestions. Just talk to your DM if you want it to be different than the one that's on here. You can roll it, but you can make it personal as well. You can also read through them. If one fits, type it in there, and then you're done with it, and that's fine. But just know your character. These things kind of drive our PC, so we have to make sure it's right for our character, and this is more important than people give it credit for. The cool part is, right now we have the foundation of our character. I have a name. I know what he does. I know what he looks like. I have all my skills and associated skills done. I even know, because I did a little homework with my armor class, how fast he can go, how many hit points he has. If I do my my real quick look up of what a rapier is, I know it's dex base. I know I'm proficient with rapiers, so I get a +4 to my attacks. I know that rapiers are 1d8 because I have it memorized. Don't do that. Well, you can't, but it's just what it is. So I know it's 1d8. And I get to add my dex modifier to my damage. So I'm going to roll 1d8 +2. That's how I get my damage on that. A dagger is also dex base. I get a +4 to that. It's 1d4 +2. Some people might be like, why would you go for the lower damage stuff? Again, it's fine to min-max. Sometimes in a role play, the dagger is going to be something I want more than my rapier, and it's just what it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, you know what I did forget was my saves here. So I got a +4 to my dex saves, and I get a +5 to my charisma saves. There. I have the foundations. Right now, I have the foundations to play my character. Enough information to play out some scenes and have some fun. More than I thought I was going to get done today, because I didn't think it would be as annoying to me to have empty boxes as it was. I know what languages I speak. I know my armor proficiencies. I know what I could do. So even if I'm in a situation where I don't have my weapons, I know if I see a hand crossbow laying around, I can pick it up and use it. I know if there's cartographer or calligraphy tools or a flute or navigation tools or a water vehicle, I can do that. Let me explain how that works with proficiencies, though. A cartographer's tool is, I believe it's dex-based. So all tools are strength or dex-based. So I got to figure out what I'm using. With that, I think cartographer and calligraphy is dex, so it's 2. I'm proficient with them, so I could do 4. And I can roll it. The flute is performance. I know that, so I'm going to roll my performance, which I have a +5 on. And I don't get an extra +2 with the flute. I'm just proficient with the flute, so I can use my proficiency score. Or if your DM wants to have some fun and give you the extra 2, it's fine. If I'm navigating, another one is intellect or wisdom. So dexterity, intellect, and wisdom. Navigation would be wisdom. Water vehicles, I think, would also be wisdom, but that's me. Your DM might do it differently. But the cool part is when I roll that wisdom or intelligence check, I can add my +2 because I'm proficient. That's all it means. I have a good base. I can role play my character now. I can have a good time with role playing. I know what his name is. I know what he looks like. And I already know a little bit about his personalities, especially when I fill out the personality traits, the ideals, the bonds, and the flaws. This is how easy it is to make a character in 5e. This used to be really hard and older. I've been playing since 2e. 3.5 had so many things to choose from. It's out there. It's just what it is. But right now I have something that I can play with. And that's how you start on your character sheet. So there's more to this I'm going to have to pick, but more than I want to do here. I want to talk a little bit about backstories, because you want to write that out too. You want to have an idea. Talk to your DM. If you're going to handwrite a backstory, don't put too many details into it. Be like, a person came to my place, and talk to your DM about nailing that. The thing is to be as closely related to your campaign and give the DM enough information to involve your character in that campaign. If you want to know more about solid backstories and stuff like that, there's a great book out there, The Ultimate RPG Character Backstory Guide. I'll have the link in the descriptions for YouTube and when this comes out as a podcast, so that you could look into that and you can see that. But there's not a lot. I don't know how much time is between me and my the people that are on the chat, but if you guys have any questions at this point about anything that I've done, I would love to hear it. I can't believe this thing's not really scrolling. Kind of disappointed in myself for that. I will make it better next time. I promise. Hi. Hey. Mike says hey. Oregon, West Coast. Okay. I'm in Seattle. Hi. So we're going to be playing a game tonight. So if you're not on Mike's thing, please go follow the Social Contract Pod. That'll be for our game later on. And Mike asked, what type of characters do you like most, martial or spellcasters? I don't have a preference. The truth about me is I see a character type and I want to play it. I recently figured out how to make a character similar to the Scarlet Witch, so I could if I wanted to. Me personally, my go-to is always the Warlock class. A noble Warlock of some kind is normally my go-to, but I do like playing them all. If you're new to the game, I understand that you might love magic, but spell casting becomes a little bit more complicated. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying make sure that you have somebody near you as a reference. I have them, but Magic is streaming. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Please go and follow _magic, MAGICK. Be much better for what you're doing. West Coast people, yo. Pacific Northwest, go represent. If you have any questions at all, you can join our Discord. You can ask me on there. I would love to. Halfling Cleric as your first character. That's awesome. What kind of Cleric? So some classes are a little bit more versatile than others. Cleric is one of those super versatile ones. There's a lot. You want a plethora of different things. There's actually a nature cleric. So if you don't like the druid, or the druid looks a little bit more complicated than what you want it to be, you can always be a nature cleric. The cool kind. So war cleric, just kidding. Nothing's better than another. Light domain. Light domain is pretty dope. What did I choose? Light domain is incredible. I love light domain stuff. I did play a Tempest cleric. I tried to, at some point in my time, just do a bunch of different stuff. Fireball cleric. The important thing is that you're happy with your character, that you enjoy playing with your character, that you have fun and that other people are enjoying it, and that you don't ruin a campaign or make it bad for other people. Enjoy it. If your character doesn't make you happy, talk to your DM. Me personally, on day 0, I tell people all the time in my campaigns, you have until level 5. At level 5, you're set in for whatever it is. But every DM is different. They'll work with you. They want you to enjoy the game. It is what it is. Also, I'll give you this tip. If you're in a group of your friends and your friend's game is not something that's intriguing you, you're not super happy playing in it, trust me, your friend's not going to be mad when you ask to, leave that game to find a different game, or even bring it up to what would make things better. Everybody plays differently, and it's just what it is. Sometimes you're just not happy with it. So far, I'm just so shy. I know I'll be at first. Yes, and that's fine. I'm glad you're happy with your character, though. Kill off characters. You don't have to kill off a character. They could just go and retire. If there's nothing else, guys, I give you this, and this, it's going to feel good to say this again. I don't think you guys realize, but just remember to be kind to one another. Keep it nerdy, and live your dreams. Later.